Hi guys, welcome to Binary Programming. As per the programming best practices, we should not hardcode values within the code. So today in this video, we will try to understand how to do configuration for secured and non-secured properties in MuleSoft, and also we will see how to migrate properties from one environment to another. So here you can see I'm having a very simple flow. In that I'm having this HTTP listener to trigger my application, and then in the set payload I have this country object. So here in the country object you will see I'm having code, name and the currency. Okay, so here name and currency, these two fields are going to be static, but the code value it could change in future. Okay, so we cannot keep this within a code, because if there would be any changes in future, we cannot come and always look for this field where we have defined and then we will do the changes. So there is no issue even if you want to keep it hard coded, but it is little difficult. Once your requirement will get increased, your code will become very much, and it will become a little difficult for us to identify in which places we have defined this property. Okay, so here what we will do, we will keep this property, this particular property code into a property file, and we'll read it from there only. So if there are any changes in the future, we can directly go to the respective environment and in the property, and there we can do the changes. Okay, so it will reflect to all the places. Okay, so here let me first create a folder. So it is not mandatory that you have to create a folder, but I love to, because with the creating a folder and keeping everything in separate folder, so your code looks good. Okay, so here I'm just giving the name properties, because all the properties only I'll keep inside this finish. Okay, now inside that we'll create a new and file, and this file name we will give dev.property. Now this code value we want to read it from property file. So this value I'll copy, and here I'll assign some key for this value. So the key could be country dot code, and now this country dot code we will put here in this place. So with that we are not hard coding, and we will read it from property. Okay. So here, as this is a data view script only, and in the last video we have seen how to read a properties from a property file in the data view. So there is a p function. We will put a p function, and here I'll give the name of the property. Okay. So with this, look for this specific property in the property file, and it will read the corresponding value. Okay. But now, out of this data view script, if you want to read the property, how we can read that? So in the logger, I'll show you how to read the property out of the data view script. So this is the expression to read a property, dollar, and then inside a curly bracket, you can give the name of the property. Okay. And here no need to define the double quotes or single quotes. Now, as this is a property, but we have to point and tell to the runtime that you have to look into this property file. Okay, so we will go into the global element and create, and here we will search for the properties. So here if you will see, we are having this configuration property, global property and secure property. So what is global property and secure property we will see later, but for now we will do the configuration in this configuration properties. Okay, so I'll double click on this one, and here you can see it is asking for the file name, and this file name would be this dev.properties. Okay, so I'll go and select this one, dev.properties. Okay, so for now we are hard coding. So if I want to migrate this application higher environment, so in that case it will always look for this property only. But how you can do dynamic migration, that also we will see later. Now let me just save it and run it. So as our application got deployed, let me just clear it and hit it from the postman. So here we can see in the logger we got the value. So here we are getting a linked hash map. So let me just convert that to JSON, so that we will get the readable format data. And here we can give output application JSON. Okay, now let me just save it again. So this set payload also internally it is using a database script only. For that reason we have defined the DW script and output MIME type. Okay, now let me hit it. Okay, so here we can see we got the response. Okay, now if you want to migrate this application from one environment to another environment, so in that case we are just looking for this div.property, and in the configuration properties here we are just hard coded the value for this property. Okay, but as I said, for dev environment this is the property, but for QA environment or UAT environment, this value could be different, right? So we cannot keep everything in the single property file. Environment wise we can create a separate properties, and here like let me just create one more property, QA dot properties, finish, and this same property only I'll keep it here, but the value would be different, but key name should be same. Okay, this key name should be same, only the value it will be different. So here I'll just put QA. Okay, and let me just stop it and save it. Now, as in this configuration property, we are hard coded the values to dev.properties. So it will always look for this dev.properties even if we will deploy this application into the QA environment also. So here what we need to do, we need to read this property file name also dynamically as per the environment wise. Okay, so here what we will do, I'll just put this, and inside this env. So this env is the variable or property which we will define and we will read at the time of deployment. Okay, so here this env property, this is the same syntax what we have used at the in the logger when we are using the property out of the database script. Okay, so dollar double and the curly braces and env. Okay, so these env properties we have to define now, and so let me just save it. So if you want to define your env property into a global configuration property, in this property you can define here also. So this global property is like something you want to keep it globally, or if you want to make this property available for complete application, you can define in this global property. So let me just define this here, and I'll say QA. Okay, let me save it and we will redeploy it. Now what will happen once our application will get deployed, it will look for this QA.properties, and then whatever value we have defined inside this QA.properties, this India IND QA 100, it will look for this value, and in the console and in the response it will return the same value only. Okay, so let's see. So here our application got deployed. Let me just hit it again. And here we can see now I got the different value whatever I have defined inside a QA property IND QA 100. Okay, and even on the console also we will get the same value. Okay, so now if I want to migrate my application to QA environment, I just need to change the env property value, okay, from dev to QA or QA to some other environment property. Okay, but now if you don't want to keep your property inside a global property, then where you will keep this env? So here let me just remove this property. So here we'll go into the run configuration, and in the argument here we will pass env and the value. So here now we will read the value from the dev environment property. Apply, run. Okay, as our application got deployed, let me just hit it, and this time we should get value whatever we have defined inside a dev.properties. So here we can see we got the value whatever we have defined inside the dev.properties. Okay, and in the console also the same value. Okay, Now at the same time only I can deploy my application to dev and QA environment, and I can point my application to different property files, okay, using this env environment property. So it's up to you. If you are deploying your application into a cloud hub, you can directly define this property env property into a cloud hub property tab. There you can give the name env and the value of the property whichever you want to point, okay. So here we have seen how to define a global property, how to point a property, respective property in different environment, and also how to read a property in the data view and also out of the data view, okay, using this expression. Now in the next video we will see how we can do the secured property configuration and how you can install the plugin in your Anyfont Studio, or if you want to use the command prompt to encrypt your property, how you can do that. This all the stuff we will see in the next video. Thank you for watching.